Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with the R Holistic Killer, aka Sonia B. So I'm back with this quick prophetic message that I want to get to you guys. And first of all, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, or if you are an expectant mom, okay? So whether your child has gotten here yet or not, you're still a mom. Your mom parenting from the womb, okay? So with that being said, I wish you all much love, much light on this day. And I don't want to forget about the single dads who are raising kids alone. So I want to say Happy Mother's Day to you too. So with all that being said, let's get straight into this prophetic message that I received, okay? And I do have a Bible verse that goes along with this after the fact. So please bear with me. And I'm going to try to be as quick as possible. So the prophetic message that I received was first... on the 7th, I received a prophetic message, and that message came through as if God was reminding us that, okay, let's just say this. So some of you guys may be having dreams, okay? And you may have dreams that you may not understand, or you're not putting two and two together, should I say. So with that being said, let me kind of sum it up for you a little bit so it maybe help you understand in a sense. So with that being said, so let's just say in this present life, right? Let's just say if you have some sort of ailment that has been bothering you, whether it be due to like weight loss, or whether it be due to like, let's just say having some sort of pain that you don't know where it came from. And it just seemed like it just kind of came from out of nowhere, I guess, over the course of the years. Well, let me just say it like this. God had revealed to me a situation, let's just say that pertaining to, a personal issue pertaining to someone in life, should I say, in this walk of life. And he was revealing to me like their past experience and why they experienced some of the things that they experienced in this walk of life. So I say all that to say, and just to kind of give you a quick brief. So let's just say that if it was a situation of, let's just say if somebody had like a car accident in a sense, and I'm referring to not speaking this over somebody, but let's just say if somebody had gotten into a car accident, and let's just say that if somebody had had some sort of injury towards their chest, like maybe they may have, hit whether it be hit their chest on a stern wheel, or whether it be a situation of them being pulled back by the seat belt, or whether it be in a situation of maybe a very much more traumatic experience, meaning like, because in these little ER movies, there's situations to where they show people having some sort of traumatic experience where, let's just say, like a pole might have went through their chest, and it just so happened that it missed the major arteries and missed their heart. Situations like that. So sometimes some of these events can happen like in a past life in a sense. So part of us remembering who we were was we also remembering these past traumatic and trauma experiences, okay? And sometimes, as I said before, sometimes people can have these ailments that basically that they're feeling and sensing in this lifetime, okay? So with that being said, bear with me one second, y'all. So anyway, so with that being said, basically that's what's happening. So if some of you guys are having dreams and you're not quite understanding what's taking place, should I say some of you guys might be having dreams to where you saw some sort of traumatic experiences happening to you or possibly a loved one. And this is God revealing information to you and just kind of giving you a sense of how helping you to make things a little bit more clear so that you can understand in a sense, if that makes sense. But anyway, so with that being said, so again, some of you guys are going to possibly see some of these things that are happening or may have happened to somebody that you know, or even yourself within a past life. And we'll kind of explain somewhat to you why you feel some of the stuff that you feel, whether it's towards certain people, whether it's towards certain situations, and whether it's pertaining towards certain circumstances. Because let me just say, like in this dream, and I'm not going to give you the full details because it's personal, should I say, But anyway, so with that being said, let's just say that hypothetically an event happened in a dream to where, let's just say, somebody got injured, and let's just say somebody got injured and it was neglect on someone else's behalf, okay? And again, and this could be a situation that somebody is actually dealing with in this walk of life, but also there are people who could be there could be people who are actually dealing with this in this walk of life, and then there could be people that are remembering their past experience, okay, that has happened to them in a previous lifetime, okay? Not this lifetime, but a previous lifetime. But with that being said, in so many words, it's almost like in this dream, it was kind of letting me know why I'm the way that I am. So I can be a very protective person, especially to those people who are close to me, my loved ones, whether it be those who are really close to me, whether it be family members, friends, whatever the case may be, people who are near and dear to my heart. So with that being said, I don't like seeing people being taken advantage of, okay? So in this dream, again, without getting into too much detail, what I saw was a situation of, let's just say, somebody was going to work in a sense. They had already arrived late in a sense. So therefore, they caught up to their job, or should I say they were, how sometimes when people have construction jobs, they're meant to go to certain work sites at a specific time that they have to be there, and they drive their own individual cars. This is how this came through. This person actually came there and they were running late because everybody else was already there. They showed up late. So therefore, that was just letting me know there was already a little bit of neglect going on their behalf in a sense. So once they kind of went into the house, they came back. Well, actually, as they went into the house, they were doing so much rushing to the point that they didn't even realize that they didn't even put their car in, I guess, complete park, or maybe pull the brake up, the emergency brakes. Thank you, Spirit. Didn't pull up the emergency brake. So imagine a house kind of being pointed a little like on a hill in a sense. So imagine a vehicle rolling down, and imagine a vehicle kind of crushing somebody in a sense, but that's neglect on that person's half. So here's the situation, okay? So after that, it kind of skips scenes, okay, without getting into too much of the details. But basically, it's like I was assuming responsibility on behalf of the other person who had became injured in this incident, because I wanted to hold them responsible because they wasn't taking responsibility for their actions. So in other words, they had did something, but yet they wasn't trying to recognize their faults or their issues in the situations. So some of you guys may find yourself actually doing this, experiencing this with somebody, or you could be, again, seeing this in a situation as if it was a past life situation that may have happened to you. That's starting to make sense now. So anyway, nevertheless, this person was not assuming responsibility. They was being there was neglect on their behalf, because when I said something to them in a dream, it's like I was saying, no, you should assume responsibility, because that was, your fault, because one, I saw you rushing, two, you got to work late, three, and whatever reasons that I was giving him, and letting him know, no, you should assume responsibility. But he wasn't trying to assume responsibility. But see, here's the thing, and let me say this too, and I want to say this on Mother Day, and I say this in all love and light, okay? So if you guys find yourself, like, let's just say hypothetically, if you have a certain issue with certain people, this does not apply to all. This is just only applying to those people who are showing up in those certain type of energies who don't assume responsibility. So it doesn't matter what race you are, it doesn't matter what color you are. But for instance, this dream came in a form as if this was a foreigner. Again, don't take offense to what I'm saying. I'm just showing you that there was a situation in past life, and why sometimes in this life, let's just say that thank you, Spirit, and sometimes in this life that you see a situation or incidents like you're not really feeling certain people. And again, it's not applying to all, but it's certain people that you feel in a certain type of way about. And again, that was God revealing that situation. So because this came up in a form as if this was like a foreigner, in a sense, I don't know. It was somewhere between like Middle Eastern or Indian culture, should I say. And again, I say that in all love and light. I'm not targeting anybody. You can't help, or you can't get upset about something that's being revealed from a past, so that way it can be addressed in this life, okay? So anyway, and God does that. He does that to bring it up for healing, okay? So with that being said, the man wasn't trying to assume responsibility, but at the same time, it's almost like I saw these two women in the background. They were stroking the wall with like these very slow strokes in a sense. So I'm not sure exactly what that part was about, but I got the feeling, like, I'm not sure if it was kind of got the feeling like these women was creating this situation, this chaotic situation. Like, thank you, Spirit. I got the feeling like these two women was creating this chaotic situation that was going on with this individual, okay? So, like I said, it was two women just kind of stroking the wall very slowly, like they was in a daze, like some sort of trance. You know how you put yourself in a meditative state, in a sense, in order to tap into other dimensions or alter your your subconscious mind into a different state, okay, in order to kind of control certain situations. So again, this man was not assuming responsibility, but then I saw like as if it was like someone of color. I don't want to keep referring to people as black, okay, because we're not the color black. There's a difference between the color black as well as this is black, okay? So I'm going to stop saying that. This is black. This is nowhere near any of our color, okay? So brown, just like me, should I say, and this individual was like, I guess, some sort of supervisor over this person. And basically they were saying, okay, man, you know what? He's not taking responsibility, so I'll handle it. But what you guys did not know was this person still wasn't assuming responsibility, because the first thing they said was, I quit anyway, or I'm going to quit anyway because I don't like this job anyway. So therefore, if there are a lot of people who are on jobs that they don't really care about, and it's almost like whether it's at the detrimental of someone else and they're getting hurt in the process, it's almost like they're not in tune with their empathetic side or just assuming responsibility because it's about self, okay? So I hope that didn't confuse anybody. So anyway, the second message was, this one is very important. So this one came through, I mean, they're all important, okay? So this one came through was God was showing me like, it was myself and my kingdom spouse who was riding in a car, right? But I was driving. He was sitting on the passenger seat. And for some particular reason, I saw this big ass tree. And imagine this big tree like in the south or something. Thank you, Spirit. I feel like these are ancestors or something from like the south or whatever. But imagine this big tree. I mean, when I tell you it's big, it's huge, it's wide, it's thick. And not only that, but it has like the you know, the tree. So you see this plant, like it has the leaves and stuff, just, you know, just, it's a really full tree. But if you guys know what some of the trees look like in the south or whatever, like they're full of leaves, they're like their leaves and stuff and the branches just kind of hang over the tree, just like pretty, right? So anyway, so we was driving, and for some particular reason I had backed up, and my back bumper was like, okay. So I was driving, and then I pulled up near this tree, and then I backed up towards the tree. So to me, that came through as if divine spirit light was trying to let me know that my relationship was protected, okay? And two, because tree of life represents, you know, protection in a sense, okay? So not only that, but it's like I was backing the car up towards the tree trunk, and then it's almost like as I was backing it up, I got the feeling like my car was being camouflaged. So that was letting me know that, you know, my relationship was being camouflaged. So if you guys listened to that message that I did for you last week, I did tell you that divine spirit light had showed me that if some of you guys feel like, you know, your divine counterpart or the person that God has showed you that you're supposed to be with, and you're feeling like, okay, well, when the two of you are either around each other, or, you know, whether you're not even around each other, but trying to feel each other's energy out in a sense, as I told you before, that God is allowing things to unfold organically, should I say. So it's not going to be the same form as if it was like if somebody was running into a karmic partner, meaning like somebody who was there to teach a lesson, meaning like everything started quick, fast, hurry, fiery, and it seemed like, oh my God, it was like factuation and all that other stuff. That's not how it's going down, okay? And that, as I said, God said that you're going to know when the two of you become intimate, should I say. That's when it's going to seal the deal, because basically God is protecting this relationship right about now for those people who want to try to sabotage it. So it's almost like God allows you to remain calm. He allows you to go within, so that way that you two can see that you can communicate with each other, but you can communicate with each other through telepathically in the spiritual realm, and so on and so on. And even if you don't necessarily communicate much impersonally, it doesn't matter, because your relationship is already sealed it's already sealed, okay? It's a done deal. But anyway, it's almost like God is just taming the two of you guys, so that way that other people aren't trying to come along and sabotage, the relationship in the process. Because sometimes there's something about two people being in love, should I say, and then people start to projecting their negative energy towards it. So it's almost like, again, as I said, God is camouflaging the situation. So just trust me and believe me. If there's anything you want to say to your divine counterpart, say it in spirit. They hear you. Say it in your heart. They feel it, okay? They feel what you feel, okay? So, again, but as I was saying, back to the tree, God was just letting me know that the relationships are being protected. So again, the way that you guys used to respond to each other, and not saying that once you become together or become united with each other, that doesn't mean, you're going to express your love towards one another, but right now it's like God is just cloaking it in a sense, because there have been people who have tried to tamper with the relationships. There have been people who tried to keep, both parties, trying to sabotage it, or be in the middle of it, or send, witchcraft towards it, or whatever, the situation may have been, that people would have been trying to sabotage it in the past. So this is God's way of, his isolation is your protection, okay? Not only your protection, but your divine counterpart protection as well. Okay. So anyway, but I want to say this real quick too, that, also that God is, some of us are retrieving lost pieces of our souls. Okay. So keep that in mind. We're kind of going through that during this time. And not only that, but you're reclaiming lost pieces of your soul. So if you're being divinely guided to, let's just say, how can I say it? If you're being divinely guided to trust your innocence, okay? So whatever that may be. So that may come in the form as if, a person being childlike. Innocence is about being childlike. If you think about when you were a child, you spoke your truth, right? So this is, thank you, Spirit. So basically, God is asking us to kind of go to a place of being vulnerable and vulnerable. I always jack that word up, vulnerable. Getting to a place of being like that. So therefore, if we're not being too rigid, we're not holding on tight, but we're allowing the energy to just flow, okay? Flowing with the universe. But when we start holding on to it and trying to control the situation, we're trying to control the outcome rather than allowing God to control it. But basically, God is wanting us to go back to our innocence, in the sense of and how do I explain that? So if you think about when you was a child, I know for myself, there can be even times I've learned to just kind of put a little filter on it. But with that being said, as a child, you just would say anything. It is not that you're saying anything, but you say exactly what you see. Thank you, Spirit. You say exactly what you see, right? So if you saw somebody doing something, you're like, well, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Or why you acting like that? It's almost like you calling people out, but you're speaking your truth. And if you think about a child doesn't have any filter on it, because they don't know any filter, because they're young. So some of us have gotten to the point that we've learned to filter some of the things that needs to be said. And basically, God is asking us to get back to that place that we become, trust our innocence, in the sense like speaking our truth. Okay. And if you have to remind yourself to go back to a place of being childlike, and ask yourself, does a child filter what they say? No, a child says exactly what's on their heart. They say, whatever's in their heart, they say it. Okay. So, let's see what else. And you have to remember that there is, because sometimes there could be situations that can arise where our intuition is speaking to us, and it's almost like our intuition can be speaking to us. And then sometimes there could be situations that seem like paranoia is kind of showing up, right? So sometimes, we have to be able to decipher between the two in regards to those two energies, because that can happen as well too. Okay, so in other words, trusting your first instincts of the information that's being given to you. And oh my God, like, so if God said it's a basketball, you saying it's a basketball, rather than God saying it's a basketball, and then you turn around and tell yourself, no, it's a football, and God just told you it's a basketball. So go with your first gut feeling of instincts of what will rise for you, okay? And again, that's where it goes back to where you're taking into consideration what comes up first, okay? not second guessing yourself. Okay. Anyway, so as I said before, that we are retrieving lost pieces of our souls. You know, some people are going through that experience in a sense, and that's a form of them reclaiming back their power in a sense. And it's about soul healing, okay? Healing those old trauma wounds, or whether it's new trauma, whether it's old trauma wounds or new trauma wounds, which is so funny because that was the message. Because I said that there was a situation from a past life, that actually both incidents from past life, you know, whether it be the divine counterpart or whether it be the situation of God revealing to certain people of like past traumatic experiences that has happened in their life and why it's affecting them right now in their adult life. Okay. And then not only that, but some of you guys are going to have your crown chakra being activated. Okay. And usually when the crown chakra is being activated, this is divine spirit light trying to communicate with you a little bit more. This is where you can start seeing the visions, as I said. So just basically pay attention to your dreams and be mindful of that as well too. And, you know, writing down what's coming up in those dreams and just kind of going back and reading it. And, you know, you can ask God for guidance on what does this message mean. And then you have your inner guidance that's also taking place along with the crown chakra being activated as well. Okay. You get also inspiration, as well as that's where enlightenment comes in at. Okay. And again, the crown chakra is at the top of the head. Okay. So that's your divine connection to source. And then we also have, the sacral chakra that's being activated at this time as well, too. That's being tied back to relationships. Okay. So if any of you may have had any past experience or any experiences pertaining to the sacral chakra, which is basically around the pelvis area in the abdominal area, and, you know, experiencing some sort of pain in the lower back area, all of those are usually tied to relationships. You know, sometimes people can be in relationship with people that they weren't meant to be in. Okay. That's pulling from their time, energy, and their effort. Okay. And then it's almost like those things are coming up for healing. Again, it is tied back to your relationships. So again, if we're not being authentic, being around people who are not necessarily like-minded, because God is trying to get some people out of the old relationships and the old way of thinking. And so that way he can place you with your soul tribe, should I say. People who are more like-minded like you, who resonates more at your frequency and who's going to bring into a more high frequency. Okay. You know, because right now, old patterns and old habits and old friendships, you know, for how long they may go back, whether it's lifetime of soulmates, whether it be, you know, sandbox from high school friends or whatever the case may be. You know, if you think about it, when you were a child, you act like a child, right? So now we're adults. So God is trying to allow those childlike ways in the people that, thank you, Spirit, childlike ways in those behaviors and habits that we had with people from when we were in like high school. And, you know, think about that. Your mindset changes. You're no longer that person playing in the sandbox anymore. You're no longer that person playing jump rope. So now it's almost like God is pushing you to accelerating it. Thank you, Spirit. I'm hearing accelerate. God is accelerating you from childlike to adult-like, you know? So again, trying to take childhood friends with you to your adult life is not going to work in a sense. So this is why God is asking us to go back and trust our inner innocence. Okay. So speak up if you need to. Okay. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Delivered in a way that you would want somebody to hear it from you as well too. So anyway, and then we also have the situation of, as I said, about being vulnerable, because God is just saying that, you know, you have to trust the process. You have to release control. You have to let go. You know, when your intuition is telling you to do something, you speak up, you know. And I see that some of you guys are doing that. And good job. Let me just say that, good job, because that's a step, because some of you have realized that those chains, as I said last week, have broken, and there's nothing holding you back at this point unless it's you. So basically what I'm hearing is God is trying to bring you back to your essence self, the person or who you was meant to be before all of your painful and hurtful experiences. Okay, like the person who you was intended to be, a loving being. Thank you, Spirit. A loving being, somebody who is loving, of unconditional love. Okay. But anyway, so to get into a long story short, there is a Bible verse that goes along with that. This is where you're going to have to use your discernment, okay? Especially when dealing with the outside world, okay? But basically, so yeah, basically we're trying to get more and come back to our natural expression of who we are, okay? And and not so much operating from the lower aspects of ourselves, but more of a higher vibration from ourselves, because God is trying to heal relationships. He's trying to heal the body. He's also trying to heal that sensuality as well as that sexuality, okay, that type energy, okay. But anyway, so make a long story short, I am done, but let me give you this Bible verse that God had given me. It's Colossians 4:5-6, and it says, walk in wisdom towards those who are outsiders, okay. So if you have kind of kept yourself closed off, and that includes myself in a sense. So to those who are outsiders, so anybody outside of who I normally deal with, God is asking us to walk in wisdom. So when we do, and we go out here, because Lord knows, we know that they're going to be the sheep and the wolf in sheep clothing. So you're going to have to be mindful of that too. So be mindful of those people who say, how can I say it? They come as if they're being spiritual. And this is where you're going to have to use your discernment at, because like I said, it's the wolf in sheep clothing. I'm not saying it to everybody, but I'm just saying, there are certain people, however you resonate, that's what you're going to draw into your energetic field. Okay. But anyway, so I'm just reminding you of those people who come in and saying that they're spiritual, because, again, this is where the discernment comes in at, okay? I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just basically saying, because I myself at one point when I first started this journey, let me just say this. I was hanging around people who I thought was spiritual, but I was like, okay. So their practice, let me just say, how can I say it? I don't even want to say that their practice was, it seemed like they were into spirituality, okay? So they were in all of the things metaphysical and, psychic and all that other stuff, but their spiritual practice wasn't. When I realized, I was like, God was just revealing to me. He's like, see, everything that appears to be is not, okay? So that's why we're going to have to go a little further and dig a little deeper, because it's an action in the way that you handle things and how you move that will show your true colors, okay? So he started revealing certain things to me, and he was like, this is not spiritual. So I was like, oh, okay. So I had to get that awakening myself too. Thank you, Spirit. Anyway, it says, so walk in wisdom towards those who are outsiders, okay? For me, that's going to be people outside that door, okay? Because like I said, I just keep my family, close right about now, whatever. But, keep them close, but they're also at a distance as well too. I don't want to make it seem I'm holding on too tight, because when you hold on too tight, God will loosen up that hand and snatch things away from you. So I learned to do it at a distance, okay? Anyway, so it says, render the times, okay? Because we're in those times right now. Let your speech be always with grace, okay? So, we have to be mindful of the things that we say to other people. But then we also, again, it's like, let your speech be graceful, but then also use your intuition and your wisdom, okay, as well too. So anyway, it says, season with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man, okay? So there may be a point in time, thank you, Divine Spirit, like there may be a point in time, thank you, Spirit. There may be a point in time, because God just showed me, like, there may be times that you have to move, and you're coming with, somebody may need some compassion, okay? And you're speaking to them with compassion. And this is why the clairsentience, the clairaudio, the clairvoyance, and all of those different four sensories of intuition is important, because one, we can feel, the other one we can see, the other one we can hear, and then the other one we just know, okay? The four part of the intuitions is very important, because you can feel and know, because most of us are empaths in a sense. You can feel and know when somebody is either hurting or need an encouraging word, okay? So you can just sense that. So that's just like that. But then you also know when somebody is coming, not being authentic, like the wolf, whether it be in sheep clothing, coming in trying to quote a Bible verse, but then they're, let's just say, doing something mischievous behind the scenes, being aware of stuff like that. And then you have situations of where somebody's coming and, let's just say, come in and you already sense their intentions aren't good at all. So it's almost like you go the opposite direction, or no thank you, or whatever it is. So in other words, thank you, Spirit, this whole training that we have went through of just God revealing and showing us certain things about certain people, he's given us the time, energy, and the effort, and our intuition, most importantly, to move in divine grace, as well as divine wisdom and divine knowledge, and more importantly, to be in tune to our gut feelings as well as our intuition, okay? If you get a certain gut feeling about someone, listen to that gut feeling. Don't dismiss it. Again, if something tells you to leave. If something tells you to speak up, speak up. So this is where it's saying that he gives us the season with salt, that ye may know how how ye ought to answer every man. So some people, it may come in a form as if it's kind, graceful, and such and such, such. And then other people, thank you, Spirit. And then other people, it may come in a form of, like it seems like you're coming off being not necessarily angry, but overcome with emotions because of something that you may be seeing taking place. In other words, like I'll give you an example. Like let's just say you see somebody, thank you, Spirit. Like, let's just say, for instance, I was kind of scrolling on TikTok yesterday, right? And then I saw a situation of this man. He was walking apparently down the street, and it just so happened that he saw this little kid standing on the corner. And I thought to myself, okay, is this staged? Because, sometimes stuff on TikTok, you never know, what people doing behind the scenes, whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, I'm just giving you this as an example. But at the same time, the little boy sitting there crying, I don't think it was too much stage, but I'm gonna stay neutral with it. But with that being said, the little boy was crying, and the man asked him, well, I guess like, well, where's your mom? You okay or whatever? And basically the man was trying to cover himself, so he was recording the kid, but he was also recording, I guess, himself taking the child, so that way he can cover himself from the laws of just saying that, he just came and took this child, because the child was standing there like on a corner, not too close to the corner, but kind of on a corner, like maybe he had his hood on his head, like his jacket wasn't on him, but his hood was on his head. You know how as a kid you take your hood and just sit on your head and the rest of the coat just flows off your back? And that's how it was. And he was standing there crying with a sippy cup in his hand and a toy in the other hand. Like, I hope his mom didn't abandon him in this situation, but he was pissed. He was like, fuck, he was like, now I gotta cover myself, because I'm picking this child up and trying to take this child to get some help or whatever the case may be, because somebody left the child standing on the corner. But nevertheless, in situations like that, or a situation, as another example was when Jesus flipped the tables over because he was upset because people was gambling in his father's house. You see what I'm saying? So there's a time and a season for everything, okay? And you're going to know it, because it's almost like it's going to be stirred up in your soul, whether to speak or say something on a particular subject or whatever. So again, that is Colossians 4:5-6. Anyway, so with that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I wish you all much love and light on this Mother's Day. And remember, if no one is, let's just say, if you don't have people in your life and they're calling you, wishing you happy Mother's Day, wish yourself happy Mother's Day, okay? Do for yourself that you possibly expect others to do for you, okay? But not only that, but have a beautiful day, whether you're a mom or a dad, okay? I want to give the dads their props as well, too. So with that being said, I wish you all much love, much light, and I say peace and blessings. And always remember to keep God first and foremost, and know that you are divinely protected. Bye.